What's going on, YouTube family? So I haven't been on here in a while. Honestly, I feel like the Lord's been kind of silent with me personally. So I haven't really received any prophetic words or anything like that. So I was just driving around and I felt like I needed to share my story about my experience with being under idolatry, right? And I know some people probably don't know what that means, so I'm going to go into it a little bit. But before I do, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who, comments, who leaves amazing comments, and just the emails that I get. I've talked to a few of you over the phone, and we've connected really, really well. And I just want to say that I'm so proud of the people who are not vulnerable but have chosen to be vulnerable with me and to share their experiences. And it's been honestly relieving for me as well, because I didn't know that people went through certain things that I went through. And it's really cool to see how God works, to see how He brings certain people together just to kind of give us peace and clarity. And I think that's so beautiful. So I really appreciate, everyone that has come to me on Instagram as well. If you don't know my Instagram, I'll go ahead and drop it in the description box. But it's going to be at GRAH16. So that's GRAH and then the number 16. Those are just my initials. Gabriela Renee Avalos Hernandez, if you're wondering. But yeah, thank you to all of you who have followed me and who've connected with me that way. It's been really cool to honestly also help people in business as well. There's some of you who've come to me to my Instagram that I've been able to help out within that realm too, which is super, super awesome. How people are just coming to me because of the Lord. I really, really do believe that. There's no way that I would have connected with you guys any other way besides through ministry. And this isn't something that I ever planned on doing, right? So if you have not connected with me yet, whether it be ministry, business, or you just wanting to build a friendship, please reach out to me. I'm honestly such an open book, if you have not noticed yet. I love meeting people. I love helping people. I'm just super passionate about a lot of things, you guys. So just, go ahead and get to know me a little bit more and reach out. So again, gonna go and dive deep. I'm sorry, you guys. It's gloomy and it's weird. Okay, it's just weird today. I'm gonna dive deep into idolatry a little bit and more about my story and what I mean by that. So, as most of you know, I was into New Age a few years ago. That's not the part of idolatry I'm talking about though, but I'll get into it. So when I was into that, I was led to a certain organization, and I love this organization. I have nothing against them at all. They have helped me, and I feel like God used them to mold me into who I am today, into the leader I am today. Just a lot of things. I've received a lot of mentorship from these people, and I still am really close to one person that I really, really respect, and I love him so much. So, but my point in that is I was led to that organization through my New Age practices. And although it was a huge desire of my heart, and I believe, the Lord would have given me a different organization no matter what, no matter how it would have worked out, I would have received something. How do I put this? I would have received it no matter what, just from a different source, or maybe a different organization. And I believe it would have benefited me regardless. But I kind of noticed this as I first started with the organization, but I kept ignoring it because of my own fleshly desires and my own worldly thoughts. So I kind of just kept ignoring the red flags. And some of these things were little signs, and I thought they were like confirmations of where I was supposed to be. But it was the enemy giving me those certain confirmations. And it doesn't mean that these people are bad people. It just means that this wasn't where I was supposed to be at that time. God did use it though, you know what I mean? Because God will always use what the enemy meant for evil for your good. So God definitely used it. I see now because of where I'm at and where I'm going. But in the midst of that journey, it was very, very difficult not because it wasn't supposed to be difficult. You know, if you're in entrepreneurship, you understand that it takes a lot of mental capacity to build a business. Because not only does that come with building a business, it comes with building yourself. So that's where the mental battle comes in. But something didn't feel right. Just when I was doing my own thing and doing my work, I always felt like there was a lack of grace. I didn't know what to call it back then. I didn't understand. But now as I look back, there was a lack of grace. Like, things were just not happening the way that I felt like they should be happening. And if you're an entrepreneur, you might be looking at this through the lens of the world, like, well, business doesn't always work the way you think it's going to work. And that's very true, but I'm coming to this from a spiritual viewpoint. I understand both the entrepreneurial mindset and the perspective of the Lord. So coming at this that way, I knew that there was something missing. Something was missing. And while I was, in this journey, I was saved. I had already been encountered, but as some of you know, I had rejected or denied that encounter and got into New Age because I was just lost and I was new to this whole awakening I was having. And so I was really, really lost. And, obviously the enemy knew that. So because I was building something without the Lord, it was extremely, extremely difficult. Like, extremely difficult. It shouldn't have been as difficult as it was. And I don't mean that always like in the physical world. It was very difficult internally, which is okay, because again, entrepreneurship, you're going to go through that. And I don't know how to explain this, but it was just a feeling and a knowing that I had that something was missing. And now I know what was missing. It was God. It was the Lord. Because he never sent me there in the first place. I really, really wish I would have prepared an example for you guys, because I don't want to butcher this, but there's a part in a story in the Bible where the Lord wants to lead certain people somewhere, and he comes to them over their tabernacle with like a cloud, and he tells them, follow this cloud wherever it goes, right? And basically in the real world, if we're not following the Lord wherever he goes, where he wants us, then that's when the grace is going to be gone, because he's grace and he's not there anymore. And so that's how it was for me. I was within this organization for about 2 years, almost 2 years, and towards the end, it got so bad. Like, my spirit knew like something weird is happening. Like, there was no more for me there. No more. And I remember going to my last training, and I sat there and I was physically there, but mentally, spiritually, I was gone. Because, the last 2 weeks, maybe within that business, I was getting super, super drawn in to the Lord, super drawn into Jesus. And for about a few months, I was actually kind of doing my own thing. I was getting kind of distant with my mentors and stuff like that. And I started to feel really bad, because I knew who I was as a person, in terms of like, I know that I'm gonna be great, and I know that I'm gonna build something, and I just started to question a lot, especially because of the things that were said sometimes, like, what else are you gonna do, or where else are you gonna go, or how are you gonna achieve the life that you want without being here, right? And it just really got into my head a lot. So it was really challenging for me, because I was like, well, I should be okay, because I'm just craving Jesus right now. Like, I really don't care about building this business right now. I just really don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. But then, I had this other voice coming into my head, like, well, all these people are gonna think that you're a quitter, and that you're this and you're that, and they're gonna judge you for quitting on your future and this and that. But on my end, I'm like, I'm not quitting on my future. I'm leaving this organization because Jesus is calling me. And not everyone will understand that, you guys, and I know that most people on here are going to be people who are strong believers, so you understand where I'm coming from, where you know that when the Lord is calling you out of something or even into something, that it generally never makes sense. And it did not make sense at all, because I knew he was calling me out of that thing. And I was very, very sad, because I was super, super devoted. And I didn't know what else I was going to do. I did not know. For those of you who don't know, in late 2016 or maybe 2017, I had dropped out of college. I took the FAFSA money and I started investing it into myself, into businesses, into startups. And everyone thought I was crazy. But as an entrepreneur, we usually are, because we're risk takers. But I was set in my mind that I'm going to be successful, right? Whatever success is to you. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to make something for myself. So, you know, that was the beginning of my journey. And so when I was thinking about, you know, leaving this organization, you can only imagine how I was going to be back at square one. There was nothing else out there for me in my mind, you know, because it was so like put into me that there was nothing else. And I know a lot of you are probably wondering, like, where does idolatry come in this? Well, I'm going to give a little definition of idolatry. And it says extreme admiration, love, or reverence for something or someone. Okay, it's the worship of someone or something other than God, as though it were God. And it's not like you physically have to get down on your knees and worship these people or worship this organization or worship anything really. It just means that it's taking place of God. Meaning you probably have put, all of your hope into something worldly that is not God. Because all of our hope is supposed to be in Jesus no matter what. And I like to be very, very vulnerable and honest with people, because I'm not perfect and my life is not perfect and I go through things. So right now I want to tell you guys what I've been going through. I feel like I've been tested heavily with my finances. And I feel like it's very, very challenging, you know, because when we feel like our needs cannot be met, we question the Lord sometimes. And we're like, well, God, should I really give? Because I only have this right now. But for me, what I've come to realize is that it's a principle, and he told us to give, because we receive what we give, right? We reap what we sow. And my intentions are never to give in order to receive something. And that's also been my challenge, because yes, I think everybody can use more finances, you know, but it's not my heart to be like, I'm gonna sow this so that I can receive money. And the Lord is challenging me with this, because I feel like he knows my heart, right? He knows my heart, and he's like, Gabby, I know that you are not selfish. I know that you don't want to take anything from anyone, but I also need you to give, because he commanded it, right? He's like, it's a principle. Like, he wants us to give in order to show us his goodness. And I mean, that's a whole other topic, but I just wanted to share my heart with that, because I know that I never want to give to receive something. So I'm like, Lord, well, I know I need money, but I don't want to give just to get money, you know? And so I've been challenged with that, because someone had told me, I believe it was my pastor, a great friend of mine, Marvin, he was saying that the Lord wants to give us stuff. He wants to give us things. He wants us to ask for certain things, right? And he was just telling me, you know, the Lord knows your heart. And I don't know if this is for someone too. Like, maybe I'm not the only one that struggles with this. It's just something that we need to do to practice our faith. That's really what it comes down to. It doesn't come down to wanting anything. At least that's not how it is for me. So really, I've come to understand that he teaches us these things and wants us to do these things so he can test our faith. And it really is that simple. But, you know, the flesh and the worldly thoughts get in the way. So I know I kind of veered off a little bit, but I don't even know what my point was with that. I'm so sorry, you guys. But I know I was talking about the worship of something as though it were God. Oh, that's what I was saying, because I didn't know where else my finances were going to come from if I didn't pursue this dream, if I didn't stay with this organization, right? So when I gave it up, I wanted to leave in honor. I wanted to honor my mentors, so I did my very best to get with them, the ones who let me at least, and tell them like, hey, I'm so grateful and I'm thankful for this, but I don't think I'm supposed to be here anymore. And I was very open with it. I wasn't making up an excuse, like, I don't know. I wasn't making an excuse. I wanted to tell them what I was doing. So I was like, I feel like the Lord is calling me. You know, I'm leaving this to follow Jesus. And I know that I got a lot of backlash for it, you know, because they would always mention that people always said that. People always, you know, kind of used God as a way to quit. And to an extent, that probably is true for some people, but that wasn't the case for me, you know? And I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? Because if I didn't drop that, you guys, this ministry would not be a thing. All the lives on here would not be touched that have been touched. Every person watching this right now would not be watching this because it wouldn't be a thing. Everyone that's going to be touched by this video would not be touched if I did not give up what he told me to give up. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people say about you. It doesn't matter what other people think about you. What matters is what he told you and your obedience to what he told you, no matter what anybody else thinks about you. Right? People, I got so much, guys. I don't need to go into that, but it hurts so bad. And my point in saying this with idolatry is that I put so much of my hope into this thing, into this business, that I literally, you guys, felt like my life was over. Like, there was nothing. In my mind, you guys have to understand that I was cemented in my head that I will never leave this organization. That I will never, ever leave it. Nothing can ever make me leave, right? I'm putting all of my trust into this, you know, into this organization, and I'm not going anywhere because there's nothing else. That was my mindset. And so when I heard the Lord speak to me about dropping it, I was actually in my car. I think I mentioned this in my last video, but for those who haven't, I'm going to go ahead and repeat it. I was driving in my car and I was already going through all these thoughts and having the Lord pull me in. I would literally go into work sometimes, you guys, and I would like just leave my desk, go in the bathroom and worship God. In the bathroom. Like, that's gross, but I didn't care, you guys. It was that bad. I was craving the Lord like crazy. I would go in the bathroom, I would put in my headphones, and sometimes I would literally get on my knees and I would worship the Lord because I wanted him so bad and I didn't know why he was pulling me like this. And I'm so grateful that he did, and I'm so grateful that I listened. Okay, I don't know if someone's going through this right now where you're supposed to leave something or you're supposed to go into something, but I'm just telling you that it's going to be worth it, and no, it's not going to make sense until you do it. And so, you know, within that time frame, it was really bad, Gabby. Within that time frame, I was driving one day and having all these thoughts and arguing with God. Lord, have you not seen the blood, sweat, and tears that I've put into this, into my craft, into my work, the late nights, the early mornings, right? The sacrifices, the missed birthdays, the missed weddings. I was very serious about my future, and I still am. But arguing with him, and I was bawling my eyes out, crying too. I shouldn't have even been driving, but I heard this voice, and he said it so beautifully in a way that just shut me up. And I've also mentioned this in the last video, but he said, if you were willing to give it all up for a business, are you willing to give it all up for me? And I just instantly stopped crying, because he asked that question in such a way that was hard for me not to say no to. In my heart at that time, I was already craving him. And I understood that he is God of the universe and that he is faithful. Even though I had no idea what it was going to look like, I had no clue what was going to happen next in my life, I just knew that I was willing. And that's what Jesus is always looking for. He's always looking for the hungry hearts, the people who will just say yes. And I am and was one of those people. And he already knows. He already knows, but he's going to ask you anyways. Why? Because he's a gentleman. He will never make you do something or force you to do something. I could have said no, you guys. And if I would have said no, like I mentioned before, none of this would be happening. The 30,000 lives that have watched my testimony, at least the first part. Guys, don't forget that there's a second part, by the way. There's 2 parts to my testimony. Those lives would not be touched. That seed would not be sown if I said no. And I just can't imagine what my life would look like if I would have said no. I would have been in the same place. Things would not have moved forward the way they were supposed to. I would still be spinning my wheels, struggling, trying to build something in my own strength without God. And I'm telling you, I don't know how I did that for 2 years, almost 2 years. I have no clue. When we are operating from our flesh like 24/7 without the Lord at all in it, I don't understand. But anyways, so after I said yes, that's when I had kind of, honored everybody and told them I'm leaving. And when I left, I remember sitting in my car, parking in front of my house, and it was super dark at night. And if you want to know what idolatry feels like after you lose it, it feels like death. Like death of, I want to say a person, but it's hard because I've never experienced the death of a person, so I know that some people might not like that. But idolatry is, the definition literally says it's the admiration of something or someone. So in my mind, I would think that, losing something of idolatry would feel the same way. And so for me, you guys, at least it felt like I literally lost somebody. I'm not kidding. And I've actually read that before when I was going through this, like idolatry, and I was reading articles and stuff, and they, people said that. And I was like, wow, I feel that right now. So I would sit in my car and I would put this all the way back, and I was in so much pain. I was in so much grief when I was crying that I can literally feel the hollowness in my heart. And I can literally feel it breaking and like ripping as I was crying. And my feet, when someone's in pain and they don't know what to do with their feet, I was like that. I was like kicking and just like, I don't even know how to explain it. And looking back, like I want to get emotional about it because, it was very painful. And I do not wish that upon anybody, that anyone be in idolatry. And so if there's something in your life right now that you feel like you cannot live without, literally, you may be in idolatry. And that's a hard pill to swallow. But you can live without it. Why? Because God created the whole earth. He knows what you need and what you don't need. He knew that I did not need to be there anymore. That wasn't what he had for me in the first place, because I wasn't even led there by him anyways. And so, my whole point in this is that idolatry is so dangerous because you're putting so much hope into something rather than someone who is Jesus. And this is a whole nother level of faith, but there are people who quit their jobs because Jesus told them to, which I've done. I had to do that as well. That was a part of it. I haven't been working a job since, by the way, and that was last November. And I've been fine, you guys, because why? Because the Lord, right? He will provide for you, especially if he told you to do something and you obeyed. And I'm kind of coming to this point in my life where, it's looking a certain way, and I'm like, okay, Lord, like, well, are you still gonna provide? And I feel like I'm just really, really being tested, but he always comes through, you guys. And every single time he comes through, I'm always telling you guys about it. I always tell my story because I genuinely feel like I'm on this journey of just complete faith, and it's my life. And that should be your life when you're walking with the Lord. And so I come on here to share my experiences because I know that I'm not the only one. I don't know why I'm telling this story right now. Every single time I create a video and I post it, I swear like a minute later, someone is coming to me telling me thank you because they needed to hear this. And that's why I do this, you guys. I don't receive anything from doing this besides helping people, and that's everything. So in reality, I gain everything because I'm serving, and that's all that matters. So I really hope that this is hitting somebody and helping you understand that your hope should be in God and God alone, right? And it's not easy. I'm not here to put sugar on it and make it sweet for you and tell you that it's easy, because it's not. And if you guys haven't realized by now, I'm a very bold, blunt person. Like, I'm sweet and everything, but when it comes down to this stuff, I'm serious. I'm very, very serious. And so I just wanted to share scripture with you guys. It's in Deuteronomy 5:7. It says, "You shall have no other gods before me." And I can already hear the comments, there's always going to be negative people, which is fine. That an organization is not a god, and how am I worshiping my job or this and that and the other? Again, it's just because you might be putting all of your hope into this thing when your hope should be, again, in him. And I can't say it enough because I don't think some of you have heard it yet. If everything comes from him, that means finances come from him as well. And that's the lesson that I'm learning. I don't need a certain organization to bring in the money. If he wants to bring me the money, he can deposit money into my bank because he's God. That's happened to me before, and that's happened to a lot of people before. And if it hasn't happened to you, I would just pray for provision, and that's what I've been praying for as well, you guys. It's something that is really testing me. It's really, really testing me, because I can easily go get a job, right? But he hasn't told me to, and that's the level that we all need to be on. It's not easy, but it's worth it, because within this journey, I've gotten to know him so much more. And that's really what this is all about. Of course, he's going to reward you for honoring him. But guys, that's never been my heart. Like, Lord, I'm going to follow you so I can get something. No. It's always been, Lord, I'm going to follow you because I love you and you're God, and why wouldn't I listen to you? Who am I to think that I know what I'm doing? Who am I to listen to my own brain when my own brain has gotten me where I'm at? Why would I not listen to the person who knows everything? He knows everything, yesterday, today, tomorrow. Why would I not listen to that person? And so I've always had people, some people question how it was so easy for me to follow the Lord, and it's not, you guys. Who said it was easy for me? It's not easy. I'm just willing because I'm in love, and that's the place that you have to get in. You need to be in love. Do I know everything about this Bible? Oh my gosh, no. I probably don't even know a third of this, you guys. And I've been repenting just because I don't want to maybe have said something wrong that I don't know about. And I'm just like, that's just my heart. God knows that I'm in love with him. Jesus knows I love him. But it doesn't mean I know everything. He knows everything. So of course, when he tells me things and I speak, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was not me. That was you. But I know that the flesh comes in sometimes, you guys. And so it's just important to have the right heart posture with everything. And I've been going to this video, and I don't even know like what I'm saying. But I know that it's hitting people because I know that this stuff matters. There's not one video that I will ever post on this that will not make an impact, you guys, because that is what this is about. This ministry should be impacting you. If you're following, if you're subscribed, you will be impacted. And I know that to be true. I know that to be a fact because I have proof of it already. And it's not because of me. It's because of him partnering with me. It is a part of, my obedience for sure. Absolutely. I have to listen and I have to obey. But it all comes down to him. Thank you for thanking me, but do not ever forget to thank God for using me. It should always go back to him. I am not a genie. I am not, better than anybody. I just love him and I do my best to follow him so that you guys can be impacted. Of course, it's so that my life can look a certain way too, and so I can be on a straight path. But I'm here to serve. I get to serve. And so do you. You get to serve. Your past gives someone else the ability to see for their future. Your past gives someone else the ability to see for their future. What would have happened if I would have kept my mouth shut about all of this stuff that I've been through? People would still be confused. They would still be within this lack of clarity. They wouldn't know, what's necessarily next. They wouldn't think that there's people out there like them. They wouldn't know Jesus. And that is what this is all about. None of this should be pointing back to me. Yes, he's worked a lot through my life, you guys. And I am so honored and so thankful for the friends that I've made through this ministry. But don't forget to thank him, please. Please don't forget to thank him. And I'm grateful for the thank yous, but don't forget to thank him either. So, you guys, this is a little bit of a longer video. I'm going to keep going because I'm going to let you know how it looked when my time was up. And what I mean by that is when he told me to drop this business, I was like, okay, Lord, like how long? How long? And he told me 6 months. So I'm like, okay, that's a long time. What am I supposed to be doing within those 6 months? You don't want me working a job. You don't want me working on business. What am I supposed to be doing? And it was just him and I. It was a very special time between me and the Lord. I've also mentioned this in another video, but I'll mention it again. I went to every Bible study that I could find, every worship night, every church event, anything. Anything that had to do with Jesus, like any healings, anything like that, I was there. I was there because I was craving him. Like I was thirsty, you guys. I was thirsty. I remember the woman in the well, the woman by the well in the Bible. Jesus tells her, something along the lines of, if you drink of the living water, you'll never be thirsty again. And he is the living water. And so I was thirsty, you guys, because I was missing him in my life, and I didn't know what it was until I did, until he started drawing me in. And I wanted him more and more until I was worshiping in that bathroom on the clock at my job. When I was supposed to be out building my business, but I would come to my car, lock myself in here and just worship. And from the world, people would tell me that it's stupid and that it's wasting my time and that you're wasting your time on your future and you're not doing what you need to be doing. No, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Don't ever tell me that I'm wasting my time because I'm worshiping God. Don't ever tell me that I made a mistake because I decided to follow Jesus. And if anyone is telling you that, just ignore them, please. You are doing something that most people will not do. And because of that, you will live a life that most people will not. And it doesn't have to look a certain way, but you will have incredible peace. And you will know that you're walking with him and that he has you. Although I'm going through things, I have a weird peace about it, you guys, and it trips people out sometimes. It's kind of like when Jesus was in the boat, right? He's giving me all these things, oh my gosh. When Jesus was in the boat and he was sleeping in the middle of the storm, and everyone else, all the disciples were freaking out. And he's just sleeping in the middle of the storm. That peace is real. That peace is real. And it's the peace that I do have. It is the peace that I do have. It's not to say that I don't struggle a little bit, but I do have that peace. And it's like, just don't let people tell you anything when you know that you heard from the Lord and you know that you're supposed to be doing what you're doing, even though nobody else is doing it. Who else was an outcast? Jesus was. But he knew what the Father told him to do, and he knew why. That's the tricky part, because we don't always know why. We just know that it's for a good reason, because he has our best interest at heart. And so after my 6 months were up, I was like, what do I do? And those 6 months weren't perfect. I believe I did it for about 3 to 4 months. And then the last 2 months, I started to just like rebel, because I was getting confused. You know, my flesh got to me a little bit. I started to rebel, but Jesus will not let me go far. When you have that anchor, oh my gosh, he is, yeah. If you're a Christian and you know what I'm talking about, it's like you can only go so far, right? And he is like, no. You always end up back with him, because it's that anchor. It's just crazy, you guys. But so when the 6 months were up, I got another business opportunity, and I've been doing it for a few months now, since April, and I'm so happy about it. You know, I'm excited about it. I'll be meeting my new mentors this Friday, actually, and we'll be staying in LA. And I've been able to help so many people through it already, and it's exciting, you guys. And it just comes to show his faithfulness. It comes to show his faithfulness, and to see how he used that last organization in order for me to just, you know, build my leadership and do what I needed to do and learn the lessons that I needed to learn in order to almost like disciple this new team that I have, right? These new leaders that I get to build and help build. And the great thing about this is that I get to help them with the word as well. I truly believe that I was called to build a business with godly principles, with godly wisdom. And I was not doing that the last time, in the last business, right? I was not doing that. It's completely different. And I am loving it this way, because it's his way. It's Yahweh. So it's like, I just hope that this gives somebody hope, because that's what this is all about. I met someone actually recently on my Instagram, and maybe you're going to be watching this. I know that some people recently quit their jobs of like 12 years, you know, and not because of COVID, literally just for the reason that I'm talking about right now, is that they feel like God told them to. And I'm all for it, you know. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, you know. I'm so excited for what God has for them. And then while they're in this period of just believing and keeping the faith, they will be blessed There's going to be lessons, there's going to be healing, there's going to be revelation, there's going to be understanding of certain things in your life. There's going to be pruning, a little bit of pruning. But you're going to be blessed because you are being refined. Actually, you might have already been refined, but he's going to perfect that. Sharpen it a little bit more. And you're going to be ready to just go out and do what he really, really wants you to do. Right? Your time is up. Your time is up, and it's now time to do what you've been called to do. And so I'm just so grateful, you guys, that I'm here, that I get to just love on you guys and speak to you, and get to meet you all. So I'm gonna end it right there. I'm not feeling anything else at the moment. So again, come meet me, come talk to me on Instagram. I even give out my number to certain people if I feel led to. And that's about it, you guys. So I love you so, so much. Keep your head up during these hard times. I know it's been really, really difficult just being in the home all day. But stay blessed, you guys. Love you.